Your Sports 1140 KHTK update. Brought to you by J.R. Putman Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
This is Kyle Madsen with your top stories on Sports 1140. Manny Machado is finally signed. He agreed to a 10-year, $300 million deal with the San Diego Padres. His $30 million per year deal is the richest free agent contract in American sports history. There's still no movement on the Bryce Harper front, though, and he remains unsigned. James Harden may not have to do everything by himself anymore. Clint Capella has missed 15 games with a thumb injury, but he'll be back when the Rockets open the second half of the season Thursday against the Lakers. Houston is the 5th seed at 33-24. They're one game back of the Trailblazers for the number 4 seed. Those are your top stories. Now back to the drive with Damien and Jason filling in for Dave on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Third and final hour here on this Wednesday morning. We are so happy you're here with us. Damien Barling and Jason Ross in from the lowdown here. Carmichael Dave will be back with you on Monday. The Sacramento Kings will be back with you tomorrow night when they take on the Golden State Warriors. We'll get you ready for that. And the final stretch of the NBA regular season that begins across the league tomorrow night. If you want to listen to the program, you could do that, KHTK app or on 1140 a.m. all across Northern California. You can watch the program and see the king of the live stream himself on KHTK.com. So head over, check that out. Have some fun with us. Again, we greatly appreciate you being with here. Cody Baylor is going to be with us here in about 30 minutes. We got Fair or Foul on the way. Speaking of Cody, she had sent me this article yesterday about how the NFL's worst quarterbacks can improve. And I saw the headline and I thought, oh, okay, that's interesting. But then I noticed the picture. And the picture is Josh Rosen, Ryan Tannehill,
right,
and Derek Carr.
Yes.
I thought, really? Derek Carr belongs in a category with Josh Rosen and Ryan Tannehill. Well, here's some context behind it. They took the quarterbacks with the 4 worst QBRs in the entire league. They took Alex Smith out of it because they're projecting, trying to project what they can do to be better next year, and no one, I think, believes Alex Smith is going to play next year. So you'll notice something here is Baker Mayfield is on the list, and Josh Allen is on the list. We mentioned Josh Rosen. He's on the list. He's at the bottom of the league in terms of total QBR, as is Sam Darnold, as is Lamar Jackson. So those are the 5 rookie quarterbacks, all rank at the bottom in terms of total QBR in the entire league. The other names that are on this list, Case Keenum, Blake Bortles, we mentioned Ryan Tannehill, Eli Manning, and Derek Carr. Gosh, I didn't think Derek Carr was in that conversation. If we take the rookies completely out of it, and we're just talking Keenum, Bortles, Tannehill, and Eli, and then you have Derek Carr. If I just said Tannehill, Bortles, Keenum, and Eli, isn't there a high possibility one of them may have already have been, that all 4 of those quarterbacks are replaced by someone else this year?
It feels like that. Very, very
on their
possible.
current team, at least?
Yes.
And then Derek Carr.
Right. Well, and we've talked a lot about
That's the company he's in right now.
Yeah, he's played, 5 full seasons now. And it was 2 years ago, so the middle of the 5, that he had an amazing year. I mean, was in the MVP talk. So it felt like that was the arc. We're seeing him get better and better and better, and that's where he was going. And then what? Then it's, okay, what is he really? Where is he really? What kind of QB is he? And I think you look at the last 2 years, some things to point to specifically has been line play. Line play hasn't been as good. He was sacked just a crazy amount of times last
51.
year. 51. And I know there's other quarterbacks that maybe don't have as great a lines, but is he holding the ball too long? Is the offense not conducive to him getting the ball out quickly? He's had different coordinators. He's had different coaches. And then you took away Crabtree, which I still think was his security blanket. Amari Cooper had been up and down in his run with the Raiders, and then you ultimately moved on from him. So I thought last year was going to be a really good year offensively. I thought they had a chance to, they kind of went at a few more weapons with adding Cook at the tight end, Jordy Nelson. It didn't materialize, so it leaves me wondering what version is the real Derek Carr? Is it that 1-year MVP type level? And the other 4 years aren't awful, but he looks like a starting quarterback to me, but he also looks like a team where you go, if you can upgrade, I think you would.
Is he the best of those 5 quarterbacks we named again, taking the rookies out of the conversation? Ryan Tannehill, Blake Bortles, Case Keenum, and Eli Manning.
I think he and Eli are there, but those are the two.
Oh, I'd take Carr over Eli all day.
I was surprised that you thought about
easily?
it that long. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because?
We've seen Carr be good way more recently than we've seen Eli be good.
But the best version of Eli better than the best version of Carr? Or no?
At this point in their careers, I think.
No, not this point, but just
the best version ever? I don't think so.
And that's not saying because he won a Super Bowl. I just mean,
can you pinpoint when Eli's best year was off the top of your head? Can you go this is when Eli was his absolute best? No. I don't even know what that would look like because we quantify it as like the Super Bowl years.
Yeah.
But I don't know that Eli Manning has never been in an MVP conversation.
I don't think so. If he has, I don't remember that. But also, I don't think he's had a great line, but I also argue the last couple of years he's had a terrific receiver with him.
Right.
But if they flip spots, if Eli, I don't know that we see much difference. If Carr is the quarterback of the Giants and Eli is the quarterback of the Raiders for, I don't know, the last 2 years each, do you guys see much difference in either results?
Well, the only reason I think you have to say no is because how bad the Giants' offensive line is.
And the Raiders.
Right. That's what I mean. I'm looking at more from the Derek Carr perspective. If you just throw him on the New York Giants, I still think he's getting sacked 51 times. The one difference might be he has Saquon Barkley there. Can he get more protection by having Saquon Barkley just by grabbing an extra fraction of a second on a play action, and suddenly you're finding Odell Beckham on the outside, which again is something that the Oakland Raiders haven't had. Kyle,
that's something I'm factoring into my thoughts on Carr versus Eli. Here is Eli Manning has Saquon Barkley, who might be a transcendent player at running back, and Odell Beckham, who's on his way to being a Hall of Fame wide receiver. Derek Carr had like Jordy Nelson's corpse and a bunch of running backs who I can't name playing alongside him, and I guess Jared Cook had a good year, but
that's
the
year.
Raiders, right? And I think that's what we're basing this on is last season. I would way rather have Derek Carr.
I think I would too, but I'm just wondering of the 4. Okay, so that's this year, but he's been around. Like, what is the real Derek Carr? I guess has always been my question.
I don't know, man, but I am venturing down a terrible rabbit hole right now because I'm trying to figure out when Eli's best year was,
and it doesn't stand out.
No, I think it does.
What do you see?
2011, he threw for 4,933 yards.
Okay, wow.
29 touchdowns and 16 interceptions.
Okay.
And what year was that?
That was 2011.
Okay.
In 2015, he threw for 4,432 yards with 35 touchdowns and 14 interceptions.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Ever since 2013, where he threw a career-high 27 interceptions, that number has been in the teens. It's been, dramatically better ever since.
So how many 4,000-yard seasons for
one?
Or Manning,
including last year, which he threw for just a yard under 4,300.
Wow.
He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 4,000-yard seasons. He didn't get to his first one until 6 years into the league.
Okay. And Carr had his first 4,000-yard season last year, which is weird. I didn't think that's his highest yardage total, whatever that's worth.
I don't give Eli enough credit.
For what it's worth, Derek Carr in 2016 got hurt in the second to last game of the season and threw for 3,937 yards. He had 28 touchdowns and 6 interceptions that year.
Was Latavius Murray their primary back that year?
That sounds
the year
right.
that they were
in 2016. Yeah.
Wow. He only threw for 3,800 yards with 2 games left in the season.
Yeah, game and a half. But he would have made
3,900.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he would have got there.
So what's our barometer?
He would have blown past 4,000 if he had that whole game and then week 17.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have played much in week 17 because they had clinched the playoffs, but they were
Okay,
comfortable.
but the
He would've
point
made it.
stands.
So,
Yeah.
so 4,000 is the barometer?
Oh, I just because you
No,
mentioned
that's
4,000.
yeah.
I wanted to know how many times Eli had done it, and you said 6, and
Yeah.
Carr's done it once. That's not the measuring stick. I just
Okay.
was curious.
I can't believe
I
he
think they're
was that
pretty
close
similar.
to 5,000. I'd never.
Besides age, age is the big advantage now for Carr.
Sure. The best regular season record that Eli has ever had, 11-5. He's had it twice because obviously wins and losses are measured by your quarterback and nothing else. 11-5. He did it twice, but there's a 5-11. Obviously that was last year. 3-12. This is so weird, man. 7-9, 6-10, 6-10, 11-5, 3-12, 5-11. That's the last 7 years of Eli Manning's career right there.
Yeah. And 5 years that Carr's been around, there's been one winning season. Again, not all his fault, nor is it all Eli's.
That's Eli.
Yeah.
Same.
I think they're very
which,
similar.
Wow.
I really do. Besides the age. And that going forward is a big deal.
Through Derek Carr's first 5 seasons, he has a 62.8% completion rate. Eli Manning, through his first 5 seasons, was at 55.9. Carr has 122 touchdowns and 54 picks through his first 5 seasons. Eli had 98 touchdowns and 74 picks through his first 5 seasons. Derek Carr had a tick higher in yards per attempt. He also had about 600 more attempts, 18,739 yards to 14,623 for Eli. Derek Carr has been way better than Eli Manning through his first 5 years.
But I guess on that thought, and that the stats would suggest it, but do you see growth? Like, is Carr going to get better? Like, have we?
That's my concern.
What's the real? Again, I'm going back to: is he the year where they were 12-3 and he got hurt, which we've seen once, and then there's 4 years of 3-13, 7-9, 6-9, and 4-12 in the games that he played. And again, not all his win-loss, but interceptions are double digits in every other year. Touchdowns, there's some good years in there, but I just don't know what he is. And last year didn't feel like he was a difference maker at all.
You have to have one of those quarterbacks guide your team to a winning season next year. Who are you taking?
Eli or Derek Carr?
Yeah. You have to win 9 games.
Wow.
Isn't that a hard answer?
Assuming they have the same team. Let's say they have the let's just say they have the Falcons offense.
Wow. I might say Eli.
I would say Eli, just because I've seen him do it more times.
Huh.
Not much.
I think that's so disrespectful to Derek Carr, though. I don't know what Derek Carr is, man.
That's
I don't
my
know
question.
what Derek Carr is. You've been saying that for 2 years.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
And if
what
Derek Carr
is.
comes back this year, which in his defense saw that this is going to be just the second time in his career that he's had the same head coach and the same offensive coordinator.
Right.
And the last time he had it was his best year. So if that trend happens and continues, then he'll have played 6 years with 2 really good years. Then I think the conversation isn't even a conversation. But if he has another, let's say Derek Carr has the same year this next year. Are the Raiders going forward with Derek Carr? I don't think so.
No.
So he has to have a great year to stay as a Raider, in my opinion.
Okay.
And Eli is just, until the Giants get a better option, he's their quarterback.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the same with the Raiders. I think they're both in the same spot.
That could be the same with the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Miami Dolphins as well, as Blake Bortles and Ryan Tannehill are both in this conversation. It appears the other name who was not a rookie that was at the bottom of the bottom 10 in QBR in the NFL was Case Keenum, and by all outward appearances, he's already been replaced. Of course, Case Keenum could wind up in replacing Blake Bortles. He could also end up replacing Ryan Tannehill. We're just going to shuffle quarterbacks all over the place here. Do you think Antonio Brown is a consideration for the Raiders?
Should be, but I don't know how legitimate. I mean, what kind of – I feel like they're looking to add more picks, more cap flexibility than add money.
Okay.
And I think, this is a trade scenario, right, with Pittsburgh. So now you're giving them
giving up
some
a
of
draft
that
pick,
you just did to get – whether you like it or not, which none of us really like the move of Khalil Mack, but that was seemingly is the plan. Let's get away from some of the bigger contracts. Let's build with draft picks and let's go that route. I feel that's the route they've chose. And to get Antonio Brown, you're probably giving some of that back. And did you improve? I don't think you improved. So talent-wise, they should, but I don't think just philosophy that they're going to do that.
I'm anxious to see what Gruden does in this upcoming draft because I think we'll know with that, was it 4th overall pick, what they'll like, what are they most concerned about? Because it seems like you go, unless there's a severely talented player or severely more talented player sitting there that you want at a different position, you got to go to your offensive line first. Because regardless of whether you believe Derek Carr is the future of your quarterback position, you got to protect whoever the future of the quarterback position is and start putting that offensive line into place. And if you go with the Dallas Cowboys model and the once great Minnesota Vikings model, you do that through the draft.
Yeah, and with what? It's 4, 24, and 27. Mm-hmm. It feels like that's an area, and then also replace Khalil Mack. Which
that'll be easy.
And is that player at 4? Is that player at 24 or 27, or does that player even exist?
Yeah.
That's probably the answer, but something equivalent, something that you feel good about building around on the offensive and defensive lines.
You have to hit a home run with one of those 3 picks.
Yeah, and I also think they need to look at receiver. I know we just brought up.
And that's kind of like what are we looking at? What if they don't get rid of this year's Khalil Mack pick, but they get rid of next year's Khalil Mack first-round pick?
Yeah.
Which, again, if you're using Khalil Mack's pick, it's a Bears pick, right? So that'll probably be in the late 20s, mid to late 20s. Would you do that for Antonio Brown, a 31-year-old wide receiver?
Yeah. Well, would that be enough to get him?
No, by itself, no, but just in terms of first-round picks.
Yeah.
I don't know that you can venture into 2 first-round picks for Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
Just because of his age. Could you do it with Odell Beckham? Yes, probably. I just don't know that you can do it for Antonio Brown.
Well, in his video yesterday or a couple nights ago, threw a wrench into the whole thing when he mentioned that he's not going to play for non-guaranteed money. If there's concern that he's going to hold out for whatever team trades for him, I think that drops his value in the trade market a lot.
Yeah.
So I think if the Raiders offered number 27 to the Steelers this year and call it a 5th-round pick swap, I think the Steelers pull the trigger on that immediately.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised in that. But what if maybe the remark, because he also said, what did he say he was going to rejuvenate what did he say he was going to do to the league?
He was going to
it was a sentence that didn't make any sense.
Yeah, I actually have that right here for you.
Was it before or after Mr. Big Chest?
Evolution the game.
Oh, he's going to evolution the game.
Yeah.
That's what he's going to do.
it.
He's going to evolution the game.
Well, who wouldn't want that?
Everybody wants
Yeah.
that. Like, everybody wants a wide receiver who will evolution the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
What y'all looking at is a man body.
Right there.
Yeah, nice.
With a man body.
Yes.
You want him to evolution the game with a man body.
And do some touchdown dances.
And do some great touchdown dances. But point being, at 31 years old, is this a Gruden play? Like, would it even be something he entertains?
Yeah, I think him on the Raiders would make sense, just that thought, but to get him, I don't think so.
Didn't they get rid of Marquette King because John Gruden didn't like Marquette King's attitude?
He didn't
the
believe,
punter?
I believe there was a quote that came out of the Raiders organization that punters shouldn't get that much attention.
Huh.
But it's okay for head coaches too?
Well,
yeah.
Or wide receivers?
Depends on who you ask,
Yeah.
I guess. But we've maintained that for a year now. The biggest personality on the Oakland Raiders has to remain John Gruden.
Yes.
And the second it's not, you're getting shipped out of here. So Antonio Brown doesn't fit. Odell Beckham Jr. doesn't fit. And I'm not sure that either one of those guys even fit what John Gruden wants to do, because I don't think we'll know exactly what his vision is until this draft starts. And once we get through the first round of this draft, we'll have a clear – because there are people who think, well – what's he going to do with that 4th pick? We're talking offensive line and protecting the quarterback. He may very well be thinking quarterback. Mm-hmm. He could be thinking quarterback there with one of those 2 picks in the 20s.
And if he does that, what does that tell you about Derek Carr?
That Derek Carr is gone.
Yes.
And to me, the way this John Gruden tenure has happened, he could be gone this year. Mm-hmm. Like we talked about Tannehill, Bortles, Keenum. Carr could replace one of those guys.
Sure.
He could be Eli's replacement. We're doing the Eli Manning, Derek Carr comparison. He could be Eli's replacement.
We could see it live out in real time. I think there makes some sense to that. If we all kind of think that based on age, that puts him in a spot ahead of Eli, well then, and to go with the weapons that is already there, minus the line of Barkley and Beckham.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was going to ask, based on just jumping back over to this QBR thing, the 10 worst quarterbacks in the league. I was going to ask this question, but the answer feels obvious to me, and I want to see if it's the same for you guys. You have to pick one of those 10 quarterbacks to win you a game. Who are you picking?
Eli.
Really?
I've seen Eli win games.
What was the full list
Eli.
of the 10?
Eli.
Or was it just the 5?
I'm taking Bakes all day.
Oh, you're talking about all 5. You're talking about the rookie quarterbacks as well?
Yeah,
I thought you were talking about the abbreviated list.
gotcha.
Which,
No, miscommunicated that. The entire list of 10.
Bortles, Keenum, and Eli. Okay, those were the veterans that were at the bottom of the league, and then it was all 5 rookies: Darnold, Rosen, Allen, Baker Mayfield, and Lamar Jackson.
Right.
Well, Allen's trash.
Extreme trash.
But is he?
Yeah.
As he asked Jalen Ramsey. Is
So,
he still trash?
Kyle, you said Baker Mayfield?
Yeah, I think Mayfield's my guy. To go win me a game, that's something Baker Mayfield would do.
Eli's clutch, man.
Stop.
Really? Look it up, Mr. Stat Guy. Look up
Look
Eli.
it up.
Look up Clutch.
Look up.
Just go to clutch.com.
Is he a Clutch client? Is he
Look-
going to get traded to the Lakers?
Look up Eli Manning in game-winning situations. You're the same dude. People like you are the ones who crapped on Tony Romo. Meanwhile, Tony Romo was the most clutch quarterback in the entire NFL through the bulk of his career.
Hey, Mr. Stats Guy, how did he do in Super Bowls?
Which one?
Because Super Bowls are individual stats. There's for sure. Like he had to.
Okay. No, Tony Romo got a bad rap, for sure.
I take
But
Eli.
you're taking
rookie.
Eli?
You're taking
Did you
Baker
watch Eli
Mayfield.
this year? This is
Yeah.
a bit. This is like Klay Thompson is a better scorer than James Harden. You're doing a
Klay
bit.
Thompson is a better scorer than James Harden. That's fact. I haven't seen James Harden score 60 points in
You know what? That's
20
right.
minutes of play like Klay Thompson
On
can.
4
empirical
dribbles.
fact. Yep.
It was 3
yeah.
that game.
It's getting less and less.
What? Who would you? So you're going Baker. Okay, who would you take to win you a game out of those 10 quarterbacks with the lowest QBR?
Like this year, right now.
It's Baker Mayfield already?
Yeah. He threw more touchdowns than any rookie quarterback ever in like 14 games.
Tea's gone cold. I'm wondering why I got to bet at all. You just got
Yeah.
the morning raid clouds
Yeah.
up your windows. Yeah.
I was
Because
listening
I'm
to that on my
standing for
Walkman.
Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, you were. Yes, you were.
Yes.
Or your iPod shuffle.
I have a Zune.
Man, I don't like my options.
Well, how do you think some of these general managers feel?
Baker Mayfield made the Browns relevant. Are we missing that? He almost took it to the playoffs.
Hugh Jackson being fired made the Browns relevant.
You think Tyrod Taylor is winning all the games Baker Mayfield won?
Don't disparage Tyrod Taylor.
He
That
actually
was an
made the playoffs the year before.
That was an unnecessary shot. Don't disparage the good name of Tyrod Taylor to make your
No,
point.
He
Tyrod-
took the
Tyrod's
Bills to
fine.
the playoffs.
Yeah, behind a really good defense.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Oh,
now
Baker
for
Mayfield, all
goodness
those draft
sakes.
choices that were defense.
So you're taking Tyrod Taylor and those 10 guys, you're taking Tyrod Taylor?
Yes. Give me Tyrod Taylor.
Fine. Are you seriously not going to pick a name?
Give me Josh Rosen.
Okay.
No, I don't.
All
All
right.
You know who I'm
That's
taking?
enough.
You know
No.
who I'm taking?
Who?
Call me Mr. Big Shot.
All right, we'll step out. We'll come back. Fair or foul? More on Antonio Brown.
Foul!
More on Kyler Murray. And how about this Kevin Garnett revelation that there was a bounty on the head of Yao Ming? We'll explain next.
This is Kyle Madsen with your top stories on Sports 1140. Manny Machado finally signed. He agreed on a 10-year, $300 million deal with the San Diego Padres. His $30 million per year deal is the richest free agent contract in American sports history. There's still no movement on the Bryce Harper front, and he remains unsigned. James Harden may not have to do everything by himself anymore. The Rockets are getting healthy. Clint Capella, who's missed 15 games with a thumb injury, says he'll be back Thursday when the Rockets open the second half of the season against the Los Angeles Lakers. Houston is currently the 5th seed at 33-24. They are one game back of the Trailblazers for the number 4 seed. Those are your top stories. Now back to the drive with Damien and Jason right here on Sports 1140 KHTK.
We're showing off our shoes on the live stream. If you'd like
You
to go
are
to
showing off your shoes.
KHTK. You didn't just have your foot up on the console? That wasn't your knitted heel? That wasn't Jason's knitted heel. He only wears
was
those on
mine.
the weekends.
Yes.
Jason had his very sensible Cole Haans on.
Yeah.
I think people don't underestimate how dope Cole Haans are.
They're very comfortable.
Well, this 'cause
sensible.
They used to be made by Nike.
I was going to say, If you slapped a Nike logo on the side of those, people would spend $250 on them.
Are you familiar with Cole Haan?
No.
Okay, yeah, they spend $250 on them already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it has the Nike
But
technology inside of it.
Sure.
I
But
can
I'm
soar.
You could.
Yeah, I believe I can fly.
I know you do, Jason.
But I was saying people
you
that
can,
would.
buddy.
But that's exactly my point, though. Is like if somebody's going to spend $250 on shoes, they're going to make sure it has a Nike logo on it, even though it's the same shoe.
I think you should look up Cole Haan before you continue this argument of yours. Cole Haan's a designer,
No, I understand.
like a high-end designer.
Sure.
Oh.
I fully understand that.
I think they
But I was
charge
saying
more
people-
for putting Cole Haan on it than the Nike logo. I'm just going to venture a guess there.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm miscommunicating.
Would you like some Cole Haan
no,
shoes?
Yes.
Okay.
Please. No,
Do you
I'm
want us to slap
I'm
a Nike logo
miscommunicating.
on it?
Yes. I'm miscommunicating what I'm trying to say. That's all.
That's all right. We've got 2 more days to figure it out.
Thank goodness.
Tomorrow it's just
I
Jason's
spent
not even,
$80 on my New Balances.
Jason, is it the Kawhi Leonard New Balances?
No, but I want them.
Don't be mad. I'm not even mad. I'm not even mad at the new Kawhi Leonard New Balance shoes.
Me neither. They're basically my New Balance are basically like just Flyknit Nikes with the New Balance logo on them.
But if you wanted to charge $250 for them, you slap a Nike logo on them. There
See?
you go. The Oakland Raiders are working on a deal right now with the city of Oakland to play not just the 2019 season at the Coliseum, but perhaps the 2020 season as well, if things for their big grand palace in Las Vegas don't go according to plan. And it's going to cost them just $7.5 million, the exact same price tag that was there on the Coliseum just a couple of months ago.
I'm not buying that number.
No?
Nope.
You think it's more?
It should be. If I'm the city, that was a deal they had before.
So are you speculating that the city is operating under a cloud of intelligence all of a sudden when it comes to the Raiders? Because is this the city or is this the Coliseum, and are they different?
Well, I feel like this is a story that's leaked from the Raiders.
100%.
Yeah. So,
But
hey,
are they negotiating with the city of Oakland, or are they negotiating with the
I see
Oakland
your point.
Coliseum?
The 7.5 was the Coliseum.
Right, exactly.
Okay,
So
so-
this is independent of any potential lawsuit.
Gotcha. So the lawsuit's still out there.
Yes, so the 7.5 on top of the lawsuit.
Okay.
Whatever
Which
that
which
is.
hasn't been resolved and
Yeah.
discussed.
It might just fade away. No, I'm just kidding.
No way.
But
I'd increase my lawsuit.
yeah, like with like the I don't see the city, though the number has to change,
The
right?
number because they were calculating it based on how long the Raiders weren't going to be in Oakland.
and that was starting this season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It's just a floating lawsuit out there, apparently, is how this is going to work. Cody's here, as you heard right there. Let's get into fair or foul. Cody, lead us off.
All right. The Padres were 66-96 last year. The Manny Machado signing will make them significantly better next year.
No, foul. It's all sorts of foul. I told the equate. I could equate. I feel like the Robinson Cano thing. Robinson Cano leaves the New York Yankees to go play for big money in Seattle. Cool. When was the last time you've heard about Robinson Cano? Nah, like I'm not buying it. Not at all. They
Yeah.
were 66-96 last year.
Yeah, there's a long way to go. I think that's not happening yet. But if they, as many say, have the best farm system and this didn't cost them players, it just cost them money, which is a lot of money, I think it's coming. I think if they do things right going forward, they will be really good. But he's a perfect guy to build around. It's just I wouldn't expect that number to flip and see 96 wins this year, but that might be coming in 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah, I think it's great for their future. I think this year it'll probably push maybe like 70 plus wins. But like you said, with that amazing farm system, they have 9 of the top 100 prospects currently right now. So just building the future, I think he's a great asset for their future.
And you're for the continued push to get Bryce Harper if you're the Padres?
If they can do it, that'd be amazing overall.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, it's just so much money.
Mm-hmm. Do you think this will push the Giants to get Bryce Harper? Because one of this kind of...
I feel like they've already done their. I don't know what the trouble spot is between what allegedly they had offered and him not signing, but
They can only offer him a short-term deal.
yeah, I think he's into the longer-term deal and the more money. So I don't know that the Giants are going to end up being in play here.
We don't even know who is in play. We keep hearing in Philadelphia, oh, Harper doesn't want to go
Yeah.
to Philadelphia. Does he just wind up signing in Washington again?
He loves San Francisco. He loves it. Just the money.
That's a big
Well,
deal.
that's a big deal.
That's a big problem. That's a big
especially when Manny. You can't sign a deal now for less than 10 years, $300 million.
Oh, yeah.
He was supposed to be the big free agent acquisition this year. Scott Boras has got to make sure that he gets above the 10 and 30.
And is it just too risky for him to do something just absurd for like 2 years, 3 years? Like at a 40 million, 50 million.
Yeah.
And then just he'll be 28 when that's done, and then can still do a 10 year.
He's coming off a bad season.
He is.
That's what I'm saying. A short-term deal might not be that bad.
Well, but I think a short-term deal won't be good because what if he has two more? What if he has like one good year and then another bad year?
Yeah, and then what's the signing looking
Then
like?
all of a sudden we're looking at, okay, now he's never going to get that deal. You could look at last year. Oh, that's kind of an aberration. Like it was his worst season. Okay, we can handle that. But what if he does it like again? Then suddenly you may have legitimately just destroyed your value.
Yeah, true.
Take advantage, man.
Right.
Take advantage, Cody.
Kyler Murray may not throw at the NFL Combine. Fair or foul?
I feel like this is foul. I want to see him throw. I want to see him. I mean, if he has picked football, which all indications say he has, this is where he wants to go. This is what he wants to do. He wouldn't be the first guy to not, but I guess the other part of it too is if Haskins is the only one that's clearly above him, maybe he feels he doesn't have to. But I always leery about guys that don't do certain things at the combine.
It's just another way to compete. I don't get, especially after the situation he was put in.
Yeah.
You think that he would want to go out and prove himself?
I think it's a bigger deal if he doesn't throw at his pro day or doesn't throw for teams in pre-draft workouts. I don't think the combine's that big of a deal. He gets some extra training in. He gets to show his athleticism, and then he can go throw in an environment that's more isolated and where he's more comfortable at his pro day.
Yeah, I think it's completely fair. Like I don't think it's a big deal that he's not throwing at the combine. I feel like we hear this all the time.
Yeah, we do.
I don't know what the advantage is for guys throwing. Like I don't think his stock is going to increase if he throws at the combine. I don't know.
Or decrease if he doesn't.
Yeah, you hear about these guys who have these freakish combine numbers, and then that's it. That's all you hear from them. Oh, he really increased his draft stock. He went from a late 7th round pick to a mid 7th round pick. Like, yeah, that's not increasing your stock. You really didn't make any more money by doing that.
Yeah.
I think it's completely fair, though.
Who was the one? I feel like, did Teddy Bridgewater not have a great pro day? Somebody in the last couple of years where it was going to be projected pretty high and then did his own pro day and the elements like, ooh, it didn't go
It was
well.
Teddy Bridgewater.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Teddy Bridgewater. Cody?
Kevin Garnett says the 2000 U.S. Olympic team had a bounty on Ye Ming's head. First one to dunk on him gets $1 million. Fair or foul?
This is funny.
Yeah.
It's fair.
Yeah.
Like, there's no harm in it.
They got the wrong guy.
Yeah.
Which created the best dunk ever.
Oh,
Vince
for
Carter's
sure.
dunk.
Yes.
Well, yeah, Kevin Garnett saying he thought that Vince Carter had just won $1 million by dunking over the, you remember his name.
Yeah.
The Greek guy.
Frederick Weiss. Yeah.
I love that. I think it's funny. It fits Kevin Garnett. It fits stories that you hear that surround Olympic teams. And again, there's no harm in it, and no one got it.
Right.
No one dunked on Yao Ming. No one. They said they kept trying, but he either blocked the shot or they missed the dunk. Like they could
Didn't
never.
he not play a lot that game?
Yao?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the other part, I think
Correct.
it's fair. I think it's funny. All of that. I just wonder who. That's something. So, $1 million to whoever does it. Now, is Garnett paying that, or is we all agree? Like,
I think it was a pool. That's
Okay.
how I took it.
I just
It
wondered
was a
about
pool
that.
of
Like,
money.
They're all pretty excited to
yeah.
see it.
And someone's really sitting down and going, all right, Damien, you put in X amount. Cody, you pay. I mean, it never happened. We don't have to worry about it. I think it's a funny story, though.
I enjoy it.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Ticket prices for Duke UNC tonight are approaching Super Bowl prices. Fair or foul?
Well, these games are worth what someone's willing to pay, so I guess it's fair. I mean, it seems absurd. I'm going to have to also amend something I used to always say, like if there was an event that somebody would always want to go to and money was a concern, I'd say do it. You'll just that experience you'll always enjoy. Except for numbers like this it was usually someone going, well, I want to go to a Giants playoff game. It's going to cost me $200. All right, well, that's expensive, but will you miss that $200 down? Like if you can't pay a car payment or a mortgage or a rent, that's different. But this is crazy.
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy money.
$10,652 is the top ticket for right now.
Yeah, that's way too much.
And
Cameron
it's to
Indoor.
watch these kids who don't. What's the average salary of NCAA? 40 grand, like 40,000.
$0.
They don't make any.
None.
They make nothing.
Oh, you're talking about tuition money, like your
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
like,
sorry.
yeah, no,
sorry.
none of
Yes.
that.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
make
Whatever
about-
tuition is.
They
Yeah.
make about 40,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and the NCAA makes over $1 billion a
Right.
year. Like, it's
Yeah, it's
just
ridiculous.
insane. Like, pay them more if you're making this money off of it.
Or pay them at all.
And
Pay
you-
them more than their books.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like the Super Bowl too is an event, or a football game it's a couple of hours. Like college basketball games, it's on TV too, so it'll take a little bit long, but it's going to be like 2 hours, like an hour and 50, and you're out of there.
Is
You
there
go,
an event that you would pay $10,000 to go see?
No. And I said that's why I said I need to do it. That's too crazy. That's way too much money.
You have Manny Machado money. Is there an event that you'd go, yeah, like
But it just takes out the real fans, I feel like. Like,
Yeah.
going to Warriors games during the regular season, the regular fans can't even, unless you're.
wait till the Chase Center opens
Exactly.
up. There
That's
will
when it's
be
gonna
no
get
such
bad,
thing
yeah.
as
It's a different vibe. It's completely different. Like, I went there for an NBA Finals game compared to a regular season, and you can just tell it's so different.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's not happening. Yeah, once the Chase Center opens up, no one's getting in.
You wouldn't pay that kind of money for something, would you?
I can't think of anything.
Manny Machado would.
Even with
Now he would.
extraordinary amount of money, I can't figure out what I would pay $10,000 to go see.
Yeah.
Bruno Mars and Cardi B. If I had the money to do that, I would go watch them in concert for $10,000.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Nope. Unless you're bringing Michael Jackson back, I can't envision $10,000 on anyone.
Probably watch that.
Yeah, I'd watch that
Michael?
Yeah.
for $10,000. Did you tell us to step out? I hope so.
Yes.
Because we're going to do that anyways. More fair or foul coming up, plus our Facebook question fits right into what we were talking about. What event would you pay $10,000 to go see? All right, we're going to finish up fair or foul here in just a heartbeat as we wrap up the Wednesday edition of the Lowdown. In for the drive, Carmichael Dave will be back on Sunday. If you missed any part of today's show, you can subscribe to... Well, I don't know that you can subscribe to the Lowdown podcast on iTunes. I don't know where this podcast is going to go. It might go to the drive. But you can
That's where
download the
it's going.
KHTK app in the App Store. Head over to the On Demand section and check us out there. You can also watch all 3 hours of the program over on YouTube. Real quick, before we wrap up, fair or foul, there's reports coming from Yahoo that Danny Ferry, the interim general manager for the New Orleans Pelicans, wants to re-engage conversations with the NBA on the status of Anthony Davis. The belief coming out of the Pelicans organization is that Danny Ferry does not want Anthony Davis playing for the Pelicans moving forward, and they want to come to a resolution between Rich Paul, Clutch Sports, Anthony Davis, the NBA, and New Orleans Pelicans. They want to come to a resolution that would ultimately involve Anthony Davis not being around.
And not getting fined.
Right. That from the team perspective, they would prefer not to lose $100,000 per game over the next 20-some-odd games.
Well, this is a big decision because if they elect to do that in some way, shape, or form, is that done? Because then now there's a precedent. We've already had guys sit out this year without question. This is a different level of player, different level of talent, different level of someone wanting to go see play. If he sits out, then maybe that rule is just gone.
All of this stuff is on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
At least that's the way it appears so far. You want to get in these last few minutes, you can get us on the Fire Wings hotline. Try one of their delicious 21 flavors of wings today. Fire Wings, just wing it, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Cody?
The AAF needed $250 million to make payroll this year. This league won't see season 2. Fair or foul?
Fair. Week 2.
Yeah.
They needed a brand new investor in the second week of the league. $250 million. Maybe if this conversation had happened a week after the season ended, we'll talk about it and we'll figure it out. But week 2? What's going to happen in week 7?
Right.
Are they going to need another investor and then another one? What if Vince McMahon comes in and just buys the league? So now he owns the Alliance of American Football and the XFL. He is the king of the non-NFL pro football leagues.
Yeah, I think this is fair that they won't see week 2, but their biggest investor is still right there. If they ever get in, truly is the NFL. Like if they truly make this a developmental league, it will survive. It will exist, and we'll know it as that. And then there's no concern about, hey, look at the ratings. Look at who. There's no name value. What are these? Because you're going to treat it that way, and that takes years of work, years of development, really, for the league. I mean, the G League and D League from where they were, it's growing, and that's better. But there's no real concern about it overtaking the NBA. It's really the developmental league. So I think that's the route they should go. And whether they get there or not, that's their biggest investor would be the NFL.
Yeah, I hope it works out. I think they just need to develop it and kind of hope that the NFL does take over.
But I think that's ultimately what's going to happen when this season is over. That's what we're going to be talking about: is the NFL officially acquiring the Alliance of American Football and using it as the D League / G League that you just referred to. Cody,
the return of Clint Capella should put the Rockets back near the top of the Western Conference. Fair or foul?
That's fair. I'm a big believer of him with that team, with them fully healthy. Most of the year, the Capella, Chris Paul, James Harden, Eric Gordon, top players haven't played together. Shumpert's now there. All the pieces are in play, and they still were very, very good last year. I think they're going to be just fine and be a very dangerous team.
Yeah, they went 42-3 last year with Harden, Capella, and Paul all on the court. So I think it's definitely going to help them.
42-3
yes.
was their number last year. 15-8 is the number through 23 games this year.
Yeah,
which still that win percentage is better than what they've played this year. So that's an upgrade. I know it's not as good as 42-3, but that's where they're going with them all.
Mm-hmm.
And the additions of Shump, Kenneth Faried. Remember, these are guys who have not played significant time or any time with both Capella and Chris Paul. Certainly, Shump hasn't. Neither has Kenneth Faried. And Austin Rivers as well.
True.
So there's quite a few in there, Kyle.
Their perimeter guys still concern me a little bit. If you're leaning your hopes on Austin Rivers, PJ Tucker, and Amon Shumpert, it's very, very tough to see them overtaking OKC, Denver, or the Warriors.
But if you're leaning on Shump and Austin Rivers defensively rather than offensively, you might not be as in bad of shape.
You need him to hit. You need him to hit some threes. You need to knock down some shots.
How does it go for the Rockets when they shoot a bunch of threes in meaningful games?
They go 0 for 27.
Oh.
But if they get in, let's say they leapfrog just one team, and that's Portland, and that's a 4 or 5 matchup where they're hosting Portland.
Yeah.
Don't you feel good about them being in round 2?
Definitely.
Given the fact that Portland can't get out of round 1, yes,
Yeah.
I would.
And then round 2 is the Warriors, and that's probably trouble, but ultimately you're going to see them at some point.
It's assuming the Warriors get past the Kings, of course.
Great point.
Oh, no, the Kings aren't going to be an 8.
Oh, sorry, my mistake. Cody,
2 seed.
last one.
Talk of Gronk's retirement may just be to keep teams from attempting to trade him. Fair or foul?
I think that's totally fair.
Smart.
I think it's fair, just because we heard this last year. Oh,
We heard
Gronk,
it 2 years, haven't we? 17 and 18.
Well, we've heard 2 years of Gronk retirement talk. Last year, we heard that he was on the verge of being traded to the Detroit Lions, and he just said, "Nah, I'll just retire. Like I'm not going. I'll just retire." So why not put the retirement story out there now before the league year starts, so no one is inquiring about you? Then the league year starts, you get a nice little roster bonus from New England, and you go on your merry way as a Patriot.
Just doing dirty work again.
I don't know if it's the Patriots or if it's Gronk, though, because obviously the Patriots were interested in trading him. It's just Gronk wasn't going to go along with it.
Yeah.
So why, if you're a team now, do you call and inquire about Rob Gronkowski if you already know, well, he's going to shut it down and talk retirement, or he's not going to come, or whatever the case may be? They're just getting out in front of it. Remember, it's Drew Rosenhaus.
Mm-hmm.
They're just getting out in front of this. Just say you're going to retire. Well,
I think it's a serious issue he's thinking of.
I
It's
do
a
too.
lot to think about, especially when you're just won the Super Bowl. Tom's still there.
big WrestleMania payday, I'm sure, on the horizon
Yeah.
for Gronk.
Yeah, I think even in the worst case scenario, if they were go through the trade process and trade him, he could still retire. Say, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing this. So I don't think he's using it as a ploy. I think that's foul. I think he's been talking about it. He's thinking about it. I think if he is going to play, it's just going to be through the Patriots. But I don't know that New England's really going to look at trading him. It's like either you're back and you're with us, or that's it. He's done. And I really think he's thinking about retiring. I really do.
Yeah, especially with all those back issues.
Well, we'll see. He had his least productive year as a pro football player last year, though he came up with some pretty meaningful plays there in the Super Bowl. 20 years ago yesterday, Office Space came out. I've never seen Office Space.
Me neither.
Never seen it.
I have, and a lot of people rave about it. I am not one that raves about it. I thought it was okay. But, like, people love that
It
movie.
feels like it has a cult following.
Yeah. Very dry.
I saw it when I was maybe like 12 or 13 years old and didn't get it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm more in that realm where
I
I
haven't
got
watched
it,
it
but I
since.
just thought, I don't know that it's great. But people that love it are all in on that movie.
It's like The Big Lebowski.
Never seen it.
People that love it are all the way in.
Yeah.
Never seen it.
Watch this. Watch the text line. I think The Big Lebowski is overrated.
Great.
Oh, that's fine. Like I know the response to throwing out overrated lines to movies people love. I've never seen it. Like I think I could have a healthy top 5 list of movies I've never seen that people love.
Yeah,
And
me
that
too.
would be 20 years ago. Let's see, is it Saturday? The Slim Shady LP came out.
Great album.
Never saw it.
All right. Thank you so much for being with us. KHTK.com if you want to check out a repeat of the live stream. Kyle, you back today at noon?
Yeah, I sure am.
You certain?
Yes.
He sure is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being with us. We will be back. You won't be. Damn it. You're going to be the
What y'all looking
boss.
at is a man body.
That's right there. Jason's taking his man body and his Mr. Big Chest off to Southern California. What are you doing down there in enemy territory?
Work stuff.
Yeah. So J. Ross will be back with us next week. We will be back with you tomorrow at 6 a.m. Thanks for joining us.